In the wide, dry lands of the savanna, where the sun painted everything in gold and the wind rustled through the tall grass, there lived a little meerkat. He was the smallest in his family, with big curious eyes and a long twitchy tail that flicked whenever he was excited or nervous. And he was often both. The meerkat family lived in a warm, cozy burrow beneath the ground. Every morning, they popped their heads out of the tunnels, one by one, blinking at the sunlight and sniffing the air. The grown-ups stood up tall on their hind legs, looking in every direction, ears perked and noses twitching. They were the guards, always watching for danger. The others would play, dig, and search for food while the guards kept them safe. The little meerkat had never been chosen to stand guard. He was always told to stay with the other young ones, to practice digging or chasing bugs. But more than anything, he wanted to stand tall like the grown-ups. He wanted to be the one who saw things first, who kept the family safe. Every time he saw one of the adults standing still, eyes fixed on the horizon, tail balanced in the dirt, he felt something stir inside him. One day, he told himself, that would be him. He started to practice. When no one was looking, he climbed up onto little mounds of dirt and stood as tall as he could. He stretched his neck, held his paws to his chest, and tried not to blink. Sometimes a butterfly distracted him. Sometimes a breeze made him fall over. But every day, he tried again. One day, while the adults were busy searching for food and most of the little ones were playing, the group wandered further from the burrow than usual. The little meerkat had climbed up a flat rock and was practicing again. He looked left. He looked right. He squinted into the wind. And then, he saw something. A shadow moved in the grass. It was far away. Quiet. But it was there. The little meerkat's heart raced. He wanted to shout, to run, to hide, but instead, he remembered what the guards did. He froze. He kept watching. He waited until the shape disappeared behind a tree. Then he jumped down and ran to the others, his feet kicking up little puffs of sand. Back with the group, he waved his paws and bounced in place until someone noticed. He signaled toward the tree line, trying to explain what he had seen. At first, the adults didn't understand. But then, one of them climbed up a termite mound and scanned the area. The warning call came soon after. The group scattered, racing back to the safety of the burrow, the little ones scurrying through the dust, the grown-ups following behind, always checking back. Once underground, hearts still thumping, the group huddled together. The older meerkats whispered to one another. The little meerkat sat at the edge, unsure if he had done something wrong. He stared at his paws and stayed very still. But then one of the elders came forward and placed a gentle paw on his back. The others looked at him differently now. Not as the smallest. Not as the silliest. But as the one who had seen something important. He hadn't panicked. He hadn't hidden. He had done what a real guard would do. From that day on, things changed. He was allowed to take short shifts, standing watch beside one of the older guards. At first, he only stood for a little while, wobbling now and then, but he focused with all his might. The others began to trust him. They listened when he pointed. They believed him when he saw something they didn't. And each day, he stood a little taller. He still chased bugs. He still dug tunnels. But now, he was more than just the smallest meerkat. He was the one who had proven himself. He learned that standing guard wasn't just about being tall or serious. It was about paying attention, staying calm, and thinking of others before yourself. It wasn't about being fearless. It was about being careful. The savanna was still wide and full of things he didn't understand. But now, he understood himself. He didn't need to wait to be important. He already was. And every time the sun rose and the meerkats popped their heads from the burrow, one of them stood just a little straighter than before, because now, the little meerkat was watching over them.